Hey guys, it's Finn. Today is Sunday the 15th of September 2013 and I am 5 months on testosterone. I'm uploading a little late because I've been a bit under the weather this week and I should have recorded this on Wednesday. But better late than never. So, monthly catch up, what's been going on this month. In terms of hair growth, the hair that's been growing is continuing to get darker and thicker and coarser and quite curly as well. It's quite funny, the top half of my legs, they're actually almost like pubes now. It's quite mental. Pretty much from my ankles right the way up to the top of my pubic area is just one big hairball now. So I am going to turn into a werewolf, and Nat is definitely going to get her wax strips out. I'm also seeing hair in new areas now. The top of my arms, what was downy hair, is starting to get darker up here. And also my happy trail, this month especially, it's just got really dark and you can now see it quite distinctly. I would attempt to show you on camera, but it never really comes out. So yeah, that's good, and it's getting wider as well as like darkening as well, so that's really cool, really cool. My facial hair is coming in more and more. What's there already, again, is darker, but all the downy hair up the side, gradually bit by bit, ones are coming through dark, so I've just got the odd dark one showing. Although it's all there, you can only see these odd few dark ones. The underneath beard here is coming in really well, and my hair is growing so quick everywhere. It's growing really quick. The hair on my head, hair on my legs, hair everywhere, growing rapidly. I notice now, I use a electric shaver. I don't wet shave because I find it aggravates my skin a bit at the moment because I'm a bit spotty. So I use a electric shaver, and now when I electric shave, okay, it doesn't get you very close, but it's pretty close. But by the end of the day, I've got growth again, and that's quite mental, really. I shaved yesterday, and there's loads there now. But yeah, some days I can electric shave in the morning, and by the evening I can feel it, so awesome. My hairline is continuing to change. It is definitely kind of going up, more up here, and more out here. And also, my hair is really soft. Now, I tend to get very dry hair, and so maybe it's because my skin and everything's getting a bit oilier that it's had the effect of softening my hair, because it's lovely. And I'm also going grey. I lie, I was already grey, but I was using Just for Men to dye it, and I've just decided that I'm going to embrace my grey hair, my silver streaks. This is silver, it's my silver streaks, they are beautiful, Nat loves them. My Wolverine stripes, because I'm a wolf, you know. Voice change, it's really low today. I went to Pink Floyd yesterday, went to see Roger Waters' The Wall live. Any excuse to drop that in is brilliant. But yeah, I literally did sing my head off, so I think that's why it's a bit this morning. It's quite coarse and it's a bit sore as well. Actually, this whole month I've woken up every morning with a really kind of dry, scratchy throat. So something is happening again. I did have my jab this month, so that's probably why I'm seeing those changes. I don't know if it's actually getting deeper or if it's just kind of the resonance of it is a bit more apparent. But it feels a lot more stable as well. It feels like it's settling more. I don't kind of squeak as often. And I find that I can use more of a range of my voice now. I don't have to stay in the low tones. I can kind of like go a bit higher without it going squeaky. I did notice that singing last night, that I was having more luck singing. I don't have to just sing in a monotone voice like this now. I can actually kind of go up and down and it doesn't squeak, so that's quite cool. My skin, yeah, this has definitely been the spottiest month by far. I am just really covered in spots. Not just on my face, but I've got a couple on my chest and loads on my back as well. After saying I wasn't getting them really badly, this month it's actually been quite bad. But I'm just kind of trying to take care of my skin as much as possible. I use exfoliation stuff because a lot of it will be caused by hairs growing, and exfoliating your skin helps to kind of clean out the pores and remove any ingrown hairs and what have you, so, and dead skin and things like that, so that's good. And clay masks were recommended, and I love laying in the bath reading with a clay mask, so yeah, that's been helping loads. Tea tree shower gel is pretty good as well, so I've been using a bit of that. What else have we got here? sweating. I think this is what's also causing a lot of my spots at the moment, is my sweats have restarted with a vengeance. They'd kind of calmed down, and now they've just gone really, really bad this month again. I'm just never cold. The weather is starting to cool down now, and that makes me close the windows because otherwise she's shivering. But I'm just boiling 24/7. I really am. I'd quite like to go and live in the Arctic at the moment just so I can feel cold. It'd be really nice. Really nice. My skin in general feels a lot thicker. Now, Nat was worried that my skin wouldn't be as soft because she loves my soft skin. But actually, it still feels soft, but it just feels thicker. And I noticed something the other day, and Nat thinks I'm a bit bonkers, but I don't think I'm imagining it. All in Teo. My ears seem like they're more substantial. They don't look as thin as they once did. This bit especially looks like chunkier. I swear I've got chunkier ears. I could be just going crazier, because I'm already crazy. But yeah, I swear they're chunkier. Who knows? Sex drive. Let's talk about sex drive. It's brilliant. I love it. I love having that connection to my body that I never had. You know, it was just non-existent. Now, I think about sex 24/7. And the way I think about sex is very, very different as well. I didn't have a sex drive pre-T, so it is hard to compare. But whenever I did feel in the mood, it was usually caused by that kind of feeling of safety, very tied to emotion. So cuddling up with Nat stroking my arm, that might make me feel aroused. Whereas now, let's be honest, everything makes me feel aroused, to be fair. But it's very visual now. It's like I'll have scenarios happen in my head, just out of the blue. I'll be in town, and this is really embarrassing to admit, but it's happening all the time. I'll be in town and I'll see someone, and I'll just suddenly find myself having these scenarios in my head, and I catch myself and I go, Finn, what are you doing? You know, it's just my brain needs a good wash. And yeah, it's just so funny, and I catch myself saying things sometimes, and Nat will just suddenly look at me and be like, because I need to think, really. I need to count to 10 before I say anything out loud, because it's so inappropriate what I say sometimes, and it's so not romantic. You know, I'll turn around to Nat and go, what, do you fancy a bunk up? And it's just like, Finn, no. And at the moment she's laughing and kind of like just raising her eyebrows, but I know there's going to come a time when she's going to go, oi, romance me please, you know, and she's quite right. I've got to stop thinking with my new penis brain, but I do love it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, let's move on. Menstruation. Nope, nothing, absolutely nothing. I've had a couple of cramps here and there, and I've panicked and thought, oh god, but it's just not happened, so God knows how long that is now. It was after my top-up jab, wasn't it, I think, the 6 weeks, so it's been at least sort of 2-3 months since I've had one now, so that's brilliant. Downstairs growth, brilliant. I'm definitely seeing some length as well as some width. It's just, oof, it's growing. It's really awesome. It's starting to really resemble a little mini penis now, and I can't believe it. I absolutely can't believe it. Mum, I'm sorry you're watching this. I'm really sorry, but you changed my nappies, so it's alright. It's quite wonderful. I mean, I'll talk about dysphoria a bit in a minute anyway, but it's just really, really helping what's happening down there, because my genitals are now very ambiguous, really, and so as well as like having such an amazing sex drive, also not looking down there and being a bit like incongruent with my head. It's just, I really love what's happening down there. Let's just leave it as that, shall we, and move on. Oh, I'm going to make a video at some point about pumping, because I keep talking about this. I'm not quite sure whether to do it or not, but I went to FTM London on Saturday, and the doctors there were talking about how there's a certain type of pump called Somarect that some trans guys have had some luck with in terms of getting a bit extra growth, because they were saying that they think growth stops at around about 9 months, although other guys have said no, they've continued to have growth through the years of their transition. So the jury's out on a lot of this, but I really do want to do some research on it, because if I am to have lower surgery, it's likely to be meta. So the better growth I can get, the better meta I'll get. Yes. We'll look about that in the future. If anyone's got any info, please just do inbox me, because I'll be really grateful. Let's move on to emotional changes. Well, I am generally a lot more stable on testosterone than I was off testosterone. Of course, at the moment, because I'm going through puberty and everything's changing, it is a bit up and down. But it's up and down in a different way. It's not in the kind of mentally unwell way I was feeling pre-T. And my anxiety is so much lower than it was, and it continues to astound me how much lower it is. Last week before, I had more social engagements in 1 week than I've had in a few years. I met 3 guys that I've been talking to on YouTube. I started this drama therapy thing, which is like freakingly scary for me, right out of my comfort zone, plus travelling to London. And I went to FTM London at the weekend as well, and you know, that's just amazing for me to be able to do that. It's amazing, and it really does give me so much hope that I'm really going to be able to work with this anxiety and lower it even more. Because I think one of my biggest fears is I've just got anxiety and that's it. It's just what I'm going to have to live with, which okay, I accept. But the fact that I've gone on T and it's changed something inside to make my anxiety that much lower is just incredible. Love it. It is going to take more time to work on my anxiety. I do appreciate that it's not all biological. There's obviously some learnt behaviour in there over years, so I still have to continue to work on it. But the fact that the testosterone's made so much of a difference already in lowering it is helping me to kind of work with it even more, if that makes sense. One thing I've really noticed is I can't cry. I really, really can't cry. I've always had a problem with this. It got better getting sober. I learnt to kind of let some emotions out. In fact, my first year of sobriety, I pretty much cried all the way through it. So I did actually manage to kind of access that part of me, but it's gone again at the moment. As I say, I don't cry very often, but the one thing that really gets me going is music, live music. I will just, the emotion of it often just brings me to tears. And I went to see Alice Cooper, and I talked about this in my last video, last month, that I didn't cry then. And yesterday I went to see Roger Waters' The Wall live, and it was just absolutely amazing. I've loved them since I was like 12, 13. And The Wall has kind of been an iconic kind of thing throughout my life. It's kind of sung my life story through the good and the bad, and so it was a massive emotional deal, and I could feel the emotions, and I could feel that kind of welling up, gonna cry, but it just didn't come out. And I wasn't sure before whether it was the testosterone doing this, but after yesterday I'm definitely sure that it was the testosterone, because pre-T I'd have been in floods of tears all the way through that. As I say, I could feel it, but it just didn't manifest. Yeah, interesting. Mental changes. To be honest, the best way I can describe my mental changes at the moment is, I don't drive, but you know when you've got a car and you love your car and it works really, really well, and then you get another one and you try and drive it and it just doesn't cooperate in the same way. That's kind of how I feel about my brain at the moment. It doesn't work the same way as it used to work. And I'm trying to kind of reorganise my life around my new cognitive thought process. Because I used to have anxiety so strong that it would make me be a control freak and write lists and organise. Now, I've become so much more laid back, I'm forgetting to organise myself. And so, I'm just not tidying up as often as I did. I just don't care. I'm not writing all my lists anymore. I just think, oh, it'll get done at some point. It's just, I go back to study at the end of this month, and if I don't sort it out, I'm just going to be a wreck. So that's quite funny to notice. I am really finding as well that I have got a shorter fuse. I definitely have. I like things very matter-of-factly now, and when they're not so matter-of-factly, I get quite cross about it. I can see it in my head so clearly, I'm like, just do it like this. And yeah, so I'm finding that quite fun. Nat and I are having a few issues. It's we're finding it really hard to communicate at the moment. Nat has said that she finds that we're not on the same wavelength, and we're not, to be honest. The way we both think and communicate is very different now. And we're both having to relearn a communication style, which we're not doing very well this month. We're not arguing, but we're just a bit snippy at each other, and we are talking about this. We do know we've got to sort it out. Nat has had a lot of stress this month because she started a new job. So now that this is kind of settled down, we're going to really try and sit down together and work out what to do, because what's happening is I'm using my voice differently, my facial expressions are different, just the way I am towards is different, and so she's reading stuff into that. She'll often think I'm cross, and I'm not. And so I will say to her once, I'm not cross. And because she's more emotional than I am now in a lot of ways, she'll go, oh, are you sure you're not cross? You're not cross. And she'll go on, and I'll get really frustrated and snap and go, look, I told you, it's fine. And I can see myself doing it, and I don't mean to, but in my head now, I'm like, I've told you once, you need to take it as truth. But I remember I used to be like that as well. I needed that extra reassurance. And she does, and so we've both got to sit down and kind of work out what to do. I was talking to a guy a couple of weeks ago about this, about how, you know, partners do really need to hang around with other trans partners to kind of discuss that and see how they manage the changes as well. Me and Nat need to sit and do a video of this together. We are very behind with doing videos together, and we'll get that done, because I think it's very, very valuable to talk about for us as well as kind of like sharing it. Physical changes. I'm a bit of a wreck this month, to be honest. It started out alright. I thought, oh, every other time I've had the jab, straight away I've been really tired, and it's taken me a week to kind of get over it. This jab this month wasn't that bad, but as the month's gone on, I've just started to feel a bit of a wreck. I just feel like really, really, really tired, and just a bit under the weather. And then the last couple of weeks, I've started to get real dizziness. Just like when I move my head, the whole world kind of shifts, and it's a little bit like being drunk at times, which is a bit unnerving for me. So I went to the doctors to make sure everything is okay, and it is. My blood pressure's fine, you know, my temperature's fine, there's no infection anywhere. On the instructions of Libido, it does say one of the side effects can be dizziness, so I need to keep an eye on this. Hopefully it'll just go. Hopefully it's just the testosterone in my brain doing things. It's making me a bit giddy, I don't know. But yeah, I do just generally feel a little bit ravaged, and I've got backache as well, just like the top end of my back, and like muscle cramps. When I kind of smile or do this, sometimes my neck cramps and I have to kind of like uncramp it. It's horrible. So at first, as I say, at first I thought all my social engagements had been what had kind of like tired me out, but I think there's a bit more to it than this. I was talking to a friend about kind of what happens to guys like 5-6 months on T, because he's been talking to somebody who's further down the line, and this guy had said that kind of months 5 and 6 are the hardest because so many physical changes are going on. So that could explain why I've got like all these body aches and dizziness and just feeling quite tired. So, you know, I accept it is early days, and these things are going to take a while to calm down. So I'm just trying to eat well, sleep, balance sleep and exercise, lots of green tea, and you know, I'm a 14-year-old boy. It's going to be like that for a while, and that's fine. Let's talk about body changes. Using the weights, as I've discussed before, the last couple of months, it starts to make a real difference. I love now that I do exercise and my body responds how I feel it should. Because when I was getting fit and healthy before, although I could see the changes, it was changing in a female way. Now I'm on testosterone. When I'm lifting weights and doing exercise, my body's changing in a male way, which is very rewarding, and it makes it easier to do exercise, much, much easier. I'm definitely starting to see muscle gains now. I mean, my arms are pretty impressive at the moment, if I do say so myself. And I love that I'm starting to see these gains, and I'm only really doing it a couple of times a week, so if that's like a couple of times a week work, if I chuck in another day in the week and keep going, should be alright. At the moment though, everything is shifting around, so I think it's going to be quite hard to see proper results at the moment, because everything's just moving. My ass is definitely moved to my stomach, and I'm desperately trying to sort that out, but it feels like a losing battle at the moment. But I'm just going to continue to eat well and exercise. I run as well as do the weights, so it'll move and go where it should. My hips do look a bit smaller. My waist is thickening out. My ass is smaller. So it's all happening. It's all happening. So finally, dysphoria feelings. Oh, my dysphoria, in terms of my social dysphoria, is so much better, because I can go out and not have to worry about somebody calling me miss and just my heart falling through the floor. I'm being read so much more consistently now as male, and that makes me feel so much better. although I do have some issues about believing it, as I discussed in a video a couple of videos ago. But as lots of other people have said very wisely in the comments, I've had to kind of be very cautious for the last year and a half when I'm out and about, you know, trying to present as the man that I am and not being seen, and so that's developed this cautious feeling in my brain, and that's not going to go overnight. So even though people are saying, "Hello sir, can I help you sir? Thank you man," you know, man, he, all this, there's a bit in my brain that although I'm enjoying it, at the same time I'm going, really? Are you really seeing me as a man? So it's going to take a while for that to go. But in general, just being out and about feels so much better because I know I'm seen male, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful not to have an invisibility cloak on anymore that was masking me. It's good that I'm coming out, really, being seen. Brilliant. My chest dysphoria is disgusting, it's worse, and that's because I feel so much better in myself that they're now sticking out like two sore thumbs, and also because I know surgery isn't that far away and it's frustrating to wait. That's not making it any easier. There's some stuff going on at the Laurels, they're getting busier. Dr. Dean has had some things going on and he's been called away. So things aren't happening as quickly with my top surgery as they should have been, really. I've contacted them on Friday and I should hear this week. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks I'll be able to go and see Dr. Yelland, Andrew Yelland, Mr. Andrew Yelland, and make an appointment, which should still be before Christmas. But the sooner the better, really. And yes, as soon as I hear, I will let you know. And yes, I will do a little dance. Absolutely. All in all, I do feel so amazing. Despite the body aches, despite, like, not knowing which way's up sometimes, it's amazing. You know, like I said about my anxiety, there's still a lot of work to do. I'm still doing a lot of inner work so that hopefully I can get out to do proper work and put my degree to use. You know, I really want to be a therapist, I really want to be out there, but I'm still not kind of consistently well enough to do that, and I do find that frustrating at times. But it's alright, because the thing was, before tea, it was really frustrating trying to do the work on myself that I needed to do, because every day I'd go out and I'd have the man rug ripped out from underneath me, and it was just soul destroying, and I was trying to build my personality back and trying to build my self-confidence and my self-esteem, and it just wasn't happening. But now that I'm on tea and I'm being read correctly and I'm feeling so much at home in myself, all the other work that I've got to do on myself to get myself fully well, because, you know, being trans is not everything I'm about. I'm in recovery for a lot of other things, and being trans is just a part of my recovery. So yeah, knowing that I'm in the right body and I feel better makes all the work I've got to do so much easier and so much more rewarding. So even though it's hard, very hard at times, it's a positive hard, if that makes sense. It's a worthwhile difficulty. You know, old difficulties where you kind of keep battling and you're not getting anywhere, it's awful, but to kind of like be working hard and getting somewhere is amazing, and yeah, I just love it. I love it. This is not an easy journey, it's not all roses and flowers and birdsong, but my God, it's a fulfilling one. Becoming your true self is amazing, and it's a gift that not many people on this planet get. A lot of people just sleepwalk through life, and I'm glad of these difficulties because I'm awake, and I love that. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Hope everyone is really well and having a really good weekend. I'm now going to render this video and get in my onesie and chill out. Take care everybody, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.